All right, guys, we're out here with the Outlander HD7 today. We got performance numbers in the last video with Dan's Renegade. We're going to do the same in the Outlander today. 0 to 30, 30 to 0. Of course, short course times and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. That's coming up right now. Boy.
Now, after watching me do my 30, where do you think you fell without looking at it, or did you already look at it?
It felt slower, but not too bad. And going by the time, I had a 0 to 30, 2.71 seconds.
Yeah. Hold on. I think that's getting it, yeah. It's really hard to tell with the sun.
All right, we'll do a couple more.
We're out of Willie. Let's see it. I beg to differ. His launch is so much better than mine. Your launch is so much better than mine.
Oh, it just goes. 2.8.
2.8. So slower.
Touch slower that time. I think the first time I rolled onto the throttle, this time I just gunned it. So that might be the trick, is just to, I'll try it that way again this time.
I wonder if that would help mine.
It might help keep you from spinning.
Yeah, roll into it instead. Like get like a foot out and then get it.
Yeah.
You want to guess before you look?
2.78. 2.9. I'm getting slower as I go.
How's that working?
I don't know. We're blaming on traction. So the best time for the Outlander HD7, a respectable 2.71 seconds, especially for a single cylinder utility.
That weighs just about as much as that.
Yep.
So.
All right, well, let's set up here for the brake test.
Oh, maybe the running's not that bad after all.
What do we got, Dan? What do we got?
What do we got?
48 feet. Yours was only 44 something, wasn't it?
It was.
So bigger, heavier machine. Identical brakes pretty much, so that makes sense.
Better tires though.
Better tires though, but we still, you can see where my brakes locked up and then it just slid the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Oh well, but hey, it is what it is. And that's what's going to happen when you're out riding on the trail and slam on the brakes. You're going to slide for miles.
You'll see that in the other video with the Renegade.
Yeah, slide for miles.
Right through that turn. Into
All
a
right,
tree.
short course time. Almost an even 32 seconds. 30.08 was my fastest time around the short course. Not too shabby.
Not too bad. It was clean too, except for that turn right there. You almost got it.
Almost. That was close. Yeah, that last one it caught a little bit. And again, just for a reminder from the last video, which if you haven't seen it, make sure you click up here and go back and watch it right now. Dan and Renegade's best time is not on here. Never mind. It's not on here. I thought it was still saved on here. So you'll just have to go back and watch that video to find out. So as far as stock tire performance goes, it's pretty much been the same across the board as everything else we've tested.
In two-wheel drive, only manages to make it up just past the rock before it starts to spin out. And then in four-wheel drive, of course, it crawls right up without any problems, holding that 5 miles per hour with the speed limiter function of the HD7, which is awesome. So any hill climb that you were to come across in your HD7, power is plenteous and tire grip is plenteous that you're going to be able to climb most everything you come to. Even some pretty extreme loose shale climbs like this guy right here, she climbs right up with a finesseful ending. Traction for your average mud holes you find riding out on the trails is not going to be an issue. The stock tires on the HD7 do a fine job at going through your moderate sized mud holes. However, we did decide to find the limits.
So, what you doing, Jason?
Getting ready to try a mud hole. It's the one that Dan got stuck in, so
We'll insert that footage from my phone.
so you can see here where Dan got through and he had to winch out, hence why I got my winch already. Because chances are I'm probably gonna have to winch out too.
Ooh. Yeah, I saddlebag right there and I got stuck. I went. It doesn't look steep from this angle, but I ended up having to go through it. You know, it's pretty steep.
So I'm gonna try to hit it right here and eck out along that log before I go full bore and try to go the whole length of it. Because we got nice trees right there to get me out of.
But we got a nice four-wheeler right there.
We do, actually. I think I want to pull a little more of this out and wrap it up so I can toss it to you. You know, I did, I think, sort of convince myself my days of going through the mud was over, but you know what?
Nah.
I gotta try it.
Every once in a while, you gotta take a four-wheeler for what it was for. It's off-road use. If it's off-road use, we gotta attempt something. I don't think this thing's seen a mud hole yet.
I am gonna go full dip walk right off the bat.
Well, I mean, I would. Makes sense.
Boy.
Bear with me here.
You know, another advantage I just found out for these Outlander Pros, when you're stuck in the mud, you've got a great shelf. Oh yeah, climbing. Woo-hoo-hoo. You don't have, I guess yours does still have pretty good fenders there to collect mud on, but oh well. Hey, I had to give it a try.
You did? For the first time this thing got stuck?
Well, actually I think that is the first big mud hole I've had this in, isn't it?
Ooh,
I've been pretty lenient with this guy and haven't tried to go through a lot of mud with it.
You're welcome, guys.
We're putting them tires on the Sportsman. I'm probably gonna have to snorkel it too, because them snorkels are awful. They're like they're under the seat basically. Yeah.
Suspension wise, the Outlander HD7 is typical. You got just under 10 inches front suspension travel and just over 10 inches rear suspension travel. So on our flex test, it does get a little bouncy and lift quite a little bit, but it feels planted the entire time and never like it's going to tip. And for ripping through your woods and typical rough terrain, it handles it quite well. And for mostly trail riding, the suspension does feel quite good and comfortable despite the HD7s being sprung a little heavier over the regular 700s due to the fact that the HD7s are made more for work, but it does not equal a bumpy or harsh ride when you're trail riding. It still feels quite comfortable and quite soft for just trail riding, which again, is pretty much exclusively what I do with this is trail ride. And I was very pleased at how well the suspension soaked up the unexpected hard jars like the where did it come from test. As we slow it down here, you can see the suspension does an amazing job at absorbing the bump and the shock of that unexpected dip in the trail without sending all that jarring force up into your body. It does have its limits, however, and if you hit several large bumps or washouts in a row, then the suspension cannot keep up and it will begin, as your shocks continually bottom out, transfer all that impact right up into your body. And that click you can hear are the sway bar links. They don't like it too much either. And if you watched my videos long enough, you know we had to catch some air in this guy, and surprisingly enough,
Oh, perfect!
it does very, very well at handling a little bit of air now and again. Now, I did already show off the engine braking in my initial impressions video, but we'll do the quick and easy abridged version here. But here is the minimum setting in both high and low gear side by side, so you can see that. And then on the maximum setting in high and low gear. And again, it works very well, and having the selectable ranges is very handy depending on your kind of riding. You can suit it to meet your needs.
Well, there you have some quick performance tests with the Outlander HD7. And I tell you what, as close as its numbers are to Dan's Renegade, to the C-Force 1000, that just goes to show you that unless you're talking about top speed, these smaller machines just handle just as good. I mean, the quickness off the line is pretty close to on par with like the Renegade and stuff. As much as Dan there behind the camera hates to admit it. It's wheel spin. I mean, Renegade is just an awful lot of wheel spin, but Dan does have some fresh new tires on those, some Mudlight XLs we're going to be throwing on this guy. I have a feeling that's going to change the performance of this machine by leaps and bounds. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of some performance tests, a little stuckage in a slop hole. I wouldn't call that a mud hole. That was a downright slop hole that we got in. Yeah. If you want to see Dan go through that hole, check out the previous video of the Renegade performance tests, because Dan took it through there as well. So neither one of us made it through. We both had to do the winch of shame, but it was fun. And now we have tons of cleaning to do. Oh man, that's like, yeah.
That looks like dog poop.
It's sand. It's like sand in there.
Oh, it's sawdust.
Oh yeah, it is sawdust because we went through the sawdust pile.
Gotta have some fun.
But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're considering getting an Outlander Pro and wondering if it's trail worthy or you should go with just regular Outlander 700, Pro does just fine. The difference in gearing, the difference in speed really isn't that much of a difference at all. And even though the Outlander Pros are sprung a little heavier on the shocks, I think the footage shows it still handles the whoops and stuff quite nicely and still rides very well for a trail buggy. So a true do-it-all, multi-purpose ATV. So thanks for watching, and until next time, guys, keep on riding.